stuck in their house.
Okay, say that again. I just started recording. This is going live to the world. Actually, it's recording my computer. Don't worry. Nobody's watching as of yet. So if we screw up, it's okay. We won't care by the time it's done anyway. But
So tell me when you're ready.
Go.
Okay, so today, Gavin Newsom, that is the governor of California, put out a mandate that no persons over the age of 65 are allowed to leave their house, or they should self-quarantine.
Is that every
Very
state?
interesting.
Every state?
No, it's just the that was the governor of California.
Oh, we don't have a lot of people of that age group in this California. This is not a great retiring place. You know,
no, but it's still interesting though. You know, it's an interesting thought. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Because hey, I mean, at that point, and that would flow into another thing that I learned today. That even though we're still on that subject, in Italy, they just put out that they will no longer be treating the elderly or infirmed for their sickness. They are basically prioritizing, or they're doing what they call triage medicine, where they're going to look at the young and the healthy, and the elderly will be last.
Wow.
To receive medical care.
So what's it like where you're at, Dolores? What's going on?
There's no toilet paper. There's no paper towels. I went to Sam's Club. Oh, I think I lost you.
No, you're there.
Okay. I went to Sam's Club today. There was no chicken and very little meat. I don't really need anything, but I just went to go and just buy some stuff. But the one girl in the checkout said to me, wow, these people are crazy. And she was young. She was probably in her 20s. And I said, well, get used to this, because this is what socialism is all about. So if you don't like this, I suggest you vote for the Republicans, not the Democrats who want socialism. Otherwise, you're going to live like this the rest of your life. She had no idea. She had no idea what I was even talking about. I told her about Venezuela, and she's like, well, all the people in China, they're not allowed to leave. And she just kept going on. I said, that's communist. That's what will happen here. She had no idea. And I think me even telling her that, she still didn't understand what I was saying. All she said to me is, we get one truck a day in the Sam's Club, and that's all we get. And she said, before they even open the doors, the lines are around the building.
Wow. You might want to work on your lighting there, Ro, a little bit. You're kind of dark. Your camera's a little dark. But that was some great insight. There you go. That's a little better. So basically, I talked to people in Italy. I just talked to a kid, and I'm going to put out a podcast on it. He flew back. He was training for his professional fight out here in California, and he had to fly into the chaos. And they checked him, and he got quarantined at his house for 14 days, and his mom has to drop groceries in front of the house. But what you're talking about, toilet paper and all this stuff, makes me think about where my wife came from, because she was born into communist Russia before the Berlin Wall came down and all that. And, she was like maybe 7, 8 years old, if that. And then she grew up, and she didn't really experience much of it. But the same thing, like people want socialism and they want all this stuff. Now, let's see how bad they want toilet paper. But the point is, in Russia, there'd be a 2.5-mile line for sandpaper-like toilet paper just to get your fix. You'd be in a 2.5-mile line, and it's like business as usual. You get trained to do it, you get used to it. So let's see people flip the script on what they really want now, right?
Right. I know my daughter's boyfriend, they're originally from Romania, and his mother's sister and her husband came to Florida about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and they stay about 3 months. They were due to go back March 25th or 26th, and they fly back on Lufthansa or something like that, the German airline.
Oh, Lufthansa.
Lufthansa.
Yep. So anyways, they told them if they go back, they first fly into Germany. They'll be quarantined for 14 days. Then from Germany, they go on to Romania. And in Romania, they'll be quarantined for another 14 days. So they're not even going back because they said, what's the point? We'll stay here until everything's over. And they don't have to be quarantined for a month.
Yeah, that's
You know,
that. Good.
I was going to say that's interesting. That's 30 days basically. Right. You know, the thing about it is this the future? As in, you know what? Until we get some sort of inoculations for it. I mean, where does that lead? I mean, is this months, years? Because, you know, right now they say it's going to be another year for an inoculation.
You don't want to get that. I'm going to send you an article that Nicole sent me about people that get the flu shot, and they're more susceptible to the coronavirus. I'll send it to you. It was put out by the government.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah, I would say this though, that like, I've had many different types of inoculations. I've had, you know, the hantavirus, the smallpox, the
anthrax,
cowpox, anthrax. We probably got hit the plague. They gave us so they gave us many before we went overseas, and we would get sick maybe like for the smallpox. We got sick for like 12 hours. It gave us a low grade fever. Everything else wasn't that bad, but I feel that now I feel pretty safe or reasonably safe from getting anything now just because of that. Not say per se that, but just being able to survive all that stuff. I feel pretty confident, even at my age, that if I was to come in contact with that virus, I should be all right.
What about you guys, you youngsters over there, Ro and your husband? I'm Len, by the way. I'm your father's former workout partner from the Navy. That's me.
That's right.
That's right. That's where I'm from.
Were you also in there boxing and whatnot?
I was doing a lot of thumb wrestling. I'm kidding, but I was a champion. Yeah. No, very arrogant here. But how's it impact you guys? You're a whole different generation younger than us. What's coming to mind? What are you guys thinking at home?
I think for me personally, I feel like I've gone through a wave of like, I was like, you know, really, really concerned and like getting really anxious about it in the beginning. And then I kind of like settled down and was like, no, this can't really be, you know, too much of a big deal. And then I rode the wave back up of like, you know, when our son's school closed down and we went out and tried to buy groceries and it was like chaos and no toilet paper and no paper towels. Like and then it felt like, wait a minute, like, is this really, really serious, or are people just behaving irrationally and, you know, listening to the media and you know, hoarding all of these products? And, you know, it was a weird, I didn't know where to, it's still a little confusing as to like how serious this is, because, you know, you'll hear that people are dying, but then like if we look at like the number of people that have died from the flu this year already, it's a lot higher than, you know, what we've counted for coronavirus. But also we're not testing everyone, so I don't know. It's strange. I worry about, we have a lot of like older neighbors, and I worry that a lot of older people aren't able to find just basic necessities at the grocery store, because younger people are, you know, like buying up all this stuff and then like selling it on Amazon, for example, or, you know, trying to, I guess, make money off of
toilet paper slingers. The karma will get you.
Exactly. You know,
Somebody's got something ringing. I don't know what it is. Is that somebody getting a text or something on their phone?
That's,
Bang.
yeah, shut that off.
Yeah, I was like nailing me. But I got to say, the toilet paper people, we know the karma's coming from you. We're going to get the receipts. We're going to get the data. We're going to find your house. And we're going to call Toilet Paper Hoarder Hunters is the new show. And we're going to find out where you live. And we're going to put you on blast by the millions.
Yeah.
So think twice, because the data is out there. We can find out who bought all the toilet paper. That's consumer data. But I'm just playing right now. It keeps up. We'll find out. We'll show everybody where you live in your house full of toilet paper. You probably win the next episode of Hoarders. You know, it's probably stuff to the, you know, the internal. We don't need heating. We don't need AC. We just smooth into the Charmin. But I think to give you guys my feedback is I think that there's a lot of impulsive people that live reactively that don't think outside the box. They live reactively. They're just, oh my gosh, run. Oh my gosh, everybody. Oh my gosh, here we go. So here we are having a discussion, the aftermath, where we've seen people hoard everything. And that's temporary. Donald Trump did not announce, and grocery stores will never be open again. That was not the message. But it sure as hell was, it went to some people's ears. They're like, buy 900 pounds of toilet paper, hurry. You might have to go to the bathroom 17 months from now. So it's pretty confusing. And like Dolores said, just get one of those Japanese toilet seats, the bidet. You don't even need the paper. You know, don't worry about drinking water. At worst case, you can drink the tap water and still live. Maybe not perfectly, but you will live fine. There's people that live on it. So, you know, so what if it's got extra minerals, whatever? At least you're alive.
We used to drink out of the hoses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we used to drink out of the hoses in the backyard. So yeah, we'll be all right. You know.
I mean, also, you know, Nico's mom is a nurse, and so is his sister and his brother, and she manages I guess nurses that go and do like home visits and stuff. And she was saying that she's had, you know, coworkers that go and visit people who have coronavirus, and that it's just like a flu. You know, you have a fever and you have a cough, and it's nothing. According to these few people, it's nothing to be. The panic doesn't make sense because it's just a sickness that most younger, healthy people, I guess, will get over.
It's a flu. I talked to an Italian guy. He was pretty upset because he felt like this is a big propaganda move by the WHO organization to scare the crap out of everybody. Because if you know, everybody's hooked on their digital goods, their cell phone, their iPhone. They're looking down. Oh, what's up? What's new? So you're getting trained like a dog to look at the stuff. Beep, beep, beep. Right? All this stuff's coming up. And guess what? What are they feeding you? All they need is a very scary graphic map. They use a map. They can get you to do what you want with a map. Look at this map. The red dots are huge. But if we were to outline that same map with how many car accidents there have been, how many heart attacks, how many drug overdoses, how many whatevers, you know, alcoholic incidents, DUIs, you name it, that map would be tenfold of what we're seeing in the coronavirus. I truly believe so. Those are the statistics, you know. So it's skewed, scary statistics that people are being pushed into conformity by, you know. And it's not far off. I mean, you've seen stuff like this before, haven't you, Dolores?
I work in hospice, so I'm not in the hospitals, and I really never even want to work in the hospital again. I'd actually like to get out of healthcare, but working on that, trying to do a real estate career. But I can tell you, even for us, we can't get N95 masks. All we have is enough to do what we call a fit test to make sure that the masks fit properly. But we can't get them because our supplier, who we get it from, they don't have any.
Funny
So
that you
even
say
if
that.
we get,
Go on.
even if we get patients, we haven't had a patient with the coronavirus. But if we did, I don't know what we would do.
I just get off the phone with a friend of mine whose uncle in Vietnam has the factory that makes all the masks.
Oh,
So the
wow.
government has him on lockdown. Like you would think he'd be thriving, crushing the market. But no, you got to take care of Vietnam first. You got to distribute this. They got police out of there. There's no Charlie Hustle, I shorted or I beat the stock market with the masks. This guy's not thriving. You know, it would be beautiful if they could send the family a bundle and they could give it to their friends and try to help their neighbors. But I hear that the mask isn't the do all end all either. They go back to the hand washing. So it's all hearsay. It's so many
Mhm.
stories, and you're taking notes from hearsay. People in line at the movie theater. Is it true? Is it not? You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's where the masks are. The masks are locked up. Breaking news. Nobody knew that except me 5 minutes ago. I didn't know that was what was going on.
Wow.
Hello. Yeah.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Why the hell should I even know this? But it's ironic. This guy calls me before I talk to you guys. And I'm like, okay, so I got to find out more about that. But he's like, oh yeah, Uncle so-and-so, because his wife's Vietnamese. He must be rocking. Nope, they're not letting them just blast that stuff overseas. And I guess they're just trying to take care of their own people first. And that's any country would do that.
That makes sense, because
Mhm.
if there's a factory in my country, I would have to distribute what it is, to everybody here first before we ship it out. And I can understand that. I don't have a problem with that, because that's just the way it is. But that goes to a good point of when we shipped all our factories and everything overseas, we forgot that. We forgot about, we should have never done that. And I mean, that's a little byproduct, is now we have to look to foreign countries to supply us with our basic needs. And that's a shame. Even most toilet paper, where's it coming from? It's coming from China, a lot of it. I mean, so it goes to show you that we have depended on foreign entities for so long, for the last, what, 2 decades, 3 decades now, that we're at their mercy now. And so
Yep.
it's an important, it's a little important factor in all this, that we need to, that our country needs to realize, that everything shouldn't be shipped off overseas. Just because we want it cheaper, it doesn't mean that it's better. I mean, for the people that have the bottom line, obviously they want to make more money, but most of them people live in this country too. And maybe this is also a wake-up call. It doesn't have to be not just the pandemic where it makes people sick, but it should also be a wake-up call to everybody, that our whole society needs to start looking at top to bottom and then bottom to top of what things need to change. Whether it be factories making these certain things, or food distribution centers. Are we in case, maybe not this pandemic, but maybe the next one? Are we prepared? What can we do better? Because this here shows that the way the food the way the food ran out, or the products ran out pretty quick. Um, Nobody was prepared, and
Mm,
so the next time we could be better prepared.
well, I think people need to think back to when my dad was a kid during the Great Depression, where every family had gardens in their backyard. Potatoes, tomatoes, and all that stuff. And maybe not yet, but why not? I mean, it sounds doomsday prepper-ish. And how many false starts have we had for the end of the world? We're all going to die, but everybody's worried about how's it going to come? Helicopters, sharks, cars, buses, what's going to happen? And if you could just accept that that's going to happen, and this is just an event where you feel like Nostradamus for a second because it's horrific and you think you know what's coming, get over it. Life is life. There's so many scary things. It's just if you haven't had a good scare in a while. But you're right, Sonny, because the new generation was given a lot by their parents, and they were taught that they didn't need to do a lot of things, and that's on the parenting. And people get rich, people like my kid will never have to work, even people we were in the military with. They were telling me this. I go, why do you want to ruin your kid? You got to give them strength. So we stopped being self-sufficient. We outsourced it. Like, instead of giving your kid a job, like, here's an app. I will just order whatever I want. I'll order a car, order a pizza, order this, order a guy to mow my lawn, order a guy to paint the fence, order my clothes. Who's making all this stuff? See, we used to have a lot of manufacturing here,
Yes.
you know, and it's been going on for generations now, and it's like that was the wrong message. If you want to teach a man to live or teach a woman to live, teach them how to fish. Don't teach them how to just eat the food, because the moment
Yeah.
you stop giving them any fish, they're going to be, what do I do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You know this one, and we're not trying to be mean. I mean, I have a 15-year-old daughter. I'm not trying to look down on her if she was brought up in the peer pressure of what this is. I'm just like, wake up. They've done it with so many things. And, too many people, and I'm not even speaking politics, they're like, be too nice, be too kind, be too easy. But if you don't toughen people up a little bit, the toughness will shatter them. They'll be like, oh, what do I do? Paralyzed. Because they weren't trained to hunt. They weren't trained to survive. And you don't have to be Daniel Boone, but you got to be something, right?
And I think you're starting to see that with a lot of these people that are now going overboard. They're scared because, first of all, people that are scared for the most part are not really informed. It's usually the uninformed. There's a difference between being ready and prepared and going overboard and just losing it. And that's what you see. You see people that are just going overboard. And I was joking with a friend of mine today. I said, these people that are going out and buying all these paper products, right? I mean, baskets full. Well, they're more worried about being clean, and they're not worried about where their food is, and they have no food in their baskets, in their shopping carts.
A lot of
And
toilet paper sandwiches.
that makes a lot of sense. And that's where it comes back to balance. Instead of having one of this and one of that, people go overboard and have all of one thing and none of the other. And that's just, that's uninformed people.
Well, let me give you one more thought. Think of us if we had to defend our country. You and I have already done our term in the service, but think about the community, like the redcoats are coming or something. We're just civilians, and an army is coming off the shore. Do you think this group of people that runs and hoards the toilet paper is going to have each other's back? Because guess what? It's not just here. It happened in Italy. I talked to the Italian kid. He says people were running over each other with shopping carts, knocking each other down to get to the cash register. So I grew up in the culture in Italy was very strong and very communal. And now it doesn't matter where you're at in the world because of this type of lifestyle, this, automation, computers, things that have made you lazier. You can get a lazy boy chair that cooks you a hamburger and takes you to the mall. You never get out of your chair. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. So would these people bond together? Do they understand community? They can say, yeah, but are they really about it? They don't know what that is. Yeah. So, and that's what's always been hard for us to understand as veterans coming back when we're so used to being a team and we get back to the world and all our old friends are doing their own thing and they don't give a damn what happens to us, And we're like, I thought we all cared. Oh no, that was just a year ago. We don't do that anymore. So, and we see that happen when it comes down to scarcity. Freud always talked about the danger of the masses, the crowds, how they had to be under control. Churches have done it forever. The Nazis did, all these other people did it to control people, because they were worried that if they get out of control, well, we just see the first inkling of toilet paper bandits. But I think one more statistic, I'll leave you with. The average American doesn't have $1,000 in reserve in the bank to play around with. So I bet these toilet paper hustlers are sitting on toilet paper and they're pretty hungry right about now. And they're going, why did I blow my last $812? I want to show people how smart I am. And that's, and there you are. And so when the stores restock, I'm sure there will be plenty of goods, right?
Right.
Oh, there's the female hostess.
Oh, we have another one to join us.
This is the woman. This is woman against Corona. We're just the facilitators, Sonny and I.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Maria? What you got? What's your view on this whole insanity?
I think it's overblown.
Can you hear her?
Yeah, she said it was overblown.
Okay.
You guys will have to be like close to making out, like hugging each other so we can hear you the whole time. Yeah. No.
There you go.
We do that too much already.
There
Oh,
you go.
yeah? Switch your ears so she's closer to your microphone, I think. It's all
What's
good.
that?
There you go. Because one has a listening ear and one has a microphone ear, I think.
Can you hear that? Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yeah, we can both hear.
Right on. You guys can hear.
Yeah.
This is fun. Can you hear me now?
Okay. I can hear you. Yeah.
Hey, D.
Hi
So-
there.
So
Oh,
anybody,
my baby. Look at her.
But I would say though, you know, the old adage that I learned from, you know, being in LE law, being in the law, and also in the Army, is that a society is within 72 hours of going into anarchy. And basically what that means is that if services, goods and services, if the trucker stopped bringing food from the farm to the plate, we'd have 72 hours before we just lost it. And that goes to show you how quick, you know, community will go out the window. And it's not just some numbers being thrown out. This is statistics based on facts and what is developed and happened over, you know, the generations.
well,
Yeah.
you've seen
She's
this
taking
stuff
off
in a,
again.
you've seen this stuff in a war zone, right, Sonny?
Yeah. And
Right.
and when it goes, it goes. And there's not coming back takes a lot longer than how quick it dips. It dips quick, but it takes forever to come back up. And, you know, so people got to realize that you don't let it get that far. And when you see people hoarding, so what happens is when you watch the news or you're watching your iPhone or whatever, and you see somebody hoarding, or you see a whole supermarket of people hoarding, right? So then everybody else sees it and they say, oh, it's just like when do you ever see these reality shows? Well, they'll have somebody that's part of the show will start looking up into the sky. Next thing you know, there's 20 people looking up into the sky. Or they show one person starts running, and then a whole group of people just start running because they don't know, they just start doing it. And it's following the masses. And so, and it's the same with this hoarding thing, is that once you start seeing it, it's like a bug. Everybody gets it, and before you know it, the supplies that we did have just go right out the window.
People are sheeple. I'm going to share something with you guys. We're going to look at the big map together. Okay, can you all see that?
Yep.
Look at me using words like y'all, and I'm from California, but I'm not. But look at this. So we have, you know, I'm going to refresh it. Let's see what comes up here on our statistical. This is general data. It's not specific to your city, like on 3rd and Swanson Street or wherever you might be. But we have 446 confirmed cases, right? 80,000 in China, 24,000 Italy, 13,000 Iran, South Korea, 8,000 Spain, 7,000 Germany, France, 4,000 US. We have 3499. So we have less than a lot of places, but even Austria, Sweden, United Kingdom have less than us. Now, currently, there's been 6,440 deaths, okay? And the recovered are 76,000. So those aren't bad numbers, right? You know?
No, it's one out of every, almost what, 1 out of every 100
people?
That's less than the flu.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say we could look at some other statistics here since I'm here. Let's pick another statistic. Deaths per minute in the world. We won't say what they're from, right? Let's see. How many people die every single minute? Real-time worldometer. Let's see what I can come up with here. Births this year, births today, there was 283,000 born. Deaths today, 118,000 deaths and counting right here. Can you guys see that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
every day. That's every day.
Every day.
That means we are
118,000. So we're over here getting all wiki about this other thing that I have over here. So 100, that's the confirmed cases. The deaths are over here at 6,400. And over here in the worldometer, we had 118,000 deaths. right?
You know, with that number, if I interject real quick, that
Sure.
means we are gaining about 160,000 people a day to this world,
Yeah.
roughly. That's, I guess, I just wanted to say that. Go ahead.
Okay, so far deaths this year, 12 million deaths
Wow.
compared to 6,400. What are we talking about here? Toilet paper? You know, we're talking about toilet paper. Yeah, that's the new name of the podcast. We're talking about toilet paper. But anyways, we'll go back to this interesting statistical chart that I never looked at. Just in case you guys want to know how many bicycles were made this year, but let's go back to the deaths and births. Yeah, death today, 119,000. Births today, 283,000. Current world population, 7,771,000,000. Okay,
Too many.
too many. This isn't even making a dent. You know, there's been 12 million people dead this year. So even if you had 6,000 coronavirus deaths over the last month, what's that, 72K? There was more than that in a day. From old age, from every other ailment, from accidents, thunderstorms, you name it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So seasonal flu. Okay. Let's see what they have. If they have that environment. Well, I mean, and you know, this is a sad statistic. 841 million people are undernourished, and 1 billion people, 690,000 are overweight. And 22,000 people died today alone of hunger, right? That still beat the coronavirus. And let's go. Here's AIDS infected people. We're just looking at horrible stuff here, but you know, deaths caused by AIDS this year is 343,000 people and change. Make it 344.
Yeah.
Caused by AIDS. Okay. Smoking, my favorite sport, that caused 1 million deaths this year. So tell me what this friggin' virus has got to do compared to these statistics.
Mm-hmm.
You guys give me your feedback on that.
It's not even a drop in the bucket. Not literally. It's a grain on a beach. That's how minute it is.
Right.
Hey, I think you lost. I think there was, I don't know what happened, but there was 4 of us, and now it's only showing right now
I see
me
4.
and, oh, you do? I don't. I only see myself and right now Monique. So I don't know what happened.
What do you think
But
about
anyways,
those stats, ladies? Let the ladies. We've been
okay.
the authoritative
Jibber
men,
jabber.
Jibber
Yeah.
jabber. Either one of you chime in. What do you think?
I think it's just a ploy because they don't want to they don't want to have an election. That's what I think.
Well,
They're trying to blame Trump on everything.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a hell of a ploy.
Bro, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the same. I mean, I think it's just a flu that most of us are going to catch and get over. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we were hanging out with our neighbors the other day, and he's a firefighter, and he was sick about 6 weeks ago, and he was like pretty sick. And he was like, man, I think I probably already had it. And it's like before it became this big overblown thing in the media, it's possible that, I mean, people were traveling back and forth like every day, every minute, you know, and it's possible that we already had it here and we weren't testing for it and people just got it and got over it and moved on. And so I don't know why it's been blown up the way that it has been. I don't know what weird conspiracy is behind why it's been made to be such a, you know, such a pandemic when, you know, like we said earlier, the flu has killed way more people yearly than this has. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? You get in here. You get in here. Come on. Here's Nico.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey. What's the question?
Just like, what do you figure is going on with this whole coronavirus thing?
Do you believe there's a conspiracy theory? Is there a conspiracy here?
I believe it's very possible. I don't know who. I mean, who benefits? I'm not 100% sure, but it does definitely seem like there's just the way the media is attacking the whole thing. There's something going on. I mean, like Ro just said. I mean, there's been 5,000 or 4,000 something deaths this year from the flu, and there's been 60 deaths from the coronavirus. It doesn't make sense.
But then again, we're not testing people, right?
Yeah, I mean, and who knows? I mean, maybe there's just way more. I mean, but it just doesn't add up, and so obviously there's something going on, and I mean, in the meantime, we're just stuck, trying to find toilet paper and soap for our hands. It just sucks for us common people because it's like we're kind of getting thrown into this whole thing, and
Hey, how about this? Let's see. Somebody should do some research and see who bought Perel and Charmin stocks 2 months ago.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's harder to be the sneaky thief in the dark now. I think we could use data to expose some of the lower character people involved in the situation.
I agree. I don't even think it's necessarily a money grab. I think if there's some sort of conspiracy behind it, I don't even think it's necessarily for money.
Yeah.
I mean, and if it is, if somebody is guiding the media towards putting this much coverage behind this, I don't know necessarily who it would be, but I mean, like I said, it just doesn't add up. So I mean, in my mind, there must be something else going on.
Well, I mean, it could have just been the flu. Just looking at the flu statistics, 99,445 die per year. We've had 6,000 global deaths. I mean, do that over a year, you're still not going to hit 90,000 from the seasonal flu. And I put out a bunch of other statistics of deaths that happen per year in the country, and it's like millions. The amount of people that die per year is just through the ceiling. So could be DUIs, could be, deaths. Okay, 12 million people die this year. What is 6,000? What percentage is 6,000 of 12 million? You know what I mean? It's not even 1%.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's 0.5. It's 0.5%.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't even have the math in my head. I usually know math quickly.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about it. It's just bullshit. I mean, I had an Italian friend that was pissed off at me. He's like, you guys did this with your WHO organization, and Trump's friends with the guy that owns Microsoft. I'm like, could be, but why does he want it? And why do you want it in your own backyard? And if it is really true, or, are we seeing zombies in the street with skin-eating bacteria chasing people? Not at all. Hell, I haven't seen one of these people die in front of me, right? That's the funny part. I mean, it's not funny, but I mean, you don't see it. You only hear of it. But the doctors and them, there's a lot of people that you probably couldn't coerce into saying that this is false. The only thing that we see is that there's a lack of toilet paper, and there's a lack of donuts, something, whatever people are going to live on, and they're going to blow their money, and then they can't buy any more toilet paper, and the next order is going to come through, and we're going to be like, now what? I mean, if you talk to a doomsday prepper, you don't see them going, I need 8 million pounds of toilet paper. They're like, I just need a hose, I'll survive in the woods. So it's not true survivalism, but it does expose the greed of people. It's disgusting. And there is no community. They're like, here, brother, here, ma'am, let me help you. Let me share with you. No. And there's people that have more than they need. There's a guy, I guaranteed, in the Bay Area, probably sitting on 20,000 masks, thinking I'm going to sell these. Right? I mean, if any of you try to order masks or anything, even though they say they don't work, they just feel like they might, but supposedly they don't even work. Did you? You order some?
I did. I ordered masks about a month ago. And the only reason I did, the girl that I work with, she was telling me this different things. And she said to me, Dolores, I'm telling you, we need to order masks today. And I'm like, really? She's like, yes. So we ordered them about a month ago. But I can tell you a month ago, for 10 of them, they were $80.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what they are now.
Yeah,
They're,
I
they're
think you
four,
can get
ti-
them.
four times, I guarantee you. There's a guy out here in the Bay Area you're talking about that Maria was just reading me the article where a guy bought $17,000 worth of Purell and toilet paper. And he's now trying to sell it. And the way the article read, because I didn't read it, she was reading it to me, so secondhand. Basically, now what you were saying about people exposing other people, well, I think that's what's going on now with him. But the point is, that's greed. That's straight greed. I mean, instead of helping people out, it's people just stealing, or basically it's just hoarding and then stealing.
Hey,
You know, it's crazy.
my wife and
it's
I,
crazy.
we walked by a pickup truck that had a bunch of toilet paper in it right across the street from her house in the bed. No one was there at night. We didn't steal nothing. But I said, I bet someone else will.
yeah.
And, you know, live by the sword, die by the sword.
Maybe that was a sting operation. Set up by,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, could have been.
Hey, I guess instead of the anti-drug cops, it's going to be the anti-toilet paper cops. So they're going to set up a pallet full of Purell sitting on the corner, and they're just going to start scooping people up.
But let me ask you something. Sonny, you know that girl that I listened to, Jill?
Yes.
Okay. So about 3 weeks ago, she had some girl.
Give the background on who Jill is, so they understand.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'd listened to a girl named Deplorable Deb on Facebook. And I've been listening to her for a couple years. And about 2 months ago, she just said something like, yeah, and Jill in Fort Lauderdale, she got attacked because she was in a restaurant, she had a Trump hat on, and she was leaving, and this guy attacked her. So I said, I gotta see who this Jill is. So I found out who Jill was, and Jill was from Pittsburgh, which is where we're from. She wrote for the Post-Gazette and other newspaper articles up there. And so I started talking to her. I said to her, and then I watched another live Facebook thing that she does. So then she said, people should write a book. And I'm like, I want to write a book. So that's how I started communicating with Jill, because she's going to help me write a book. And then I met her about 3 weeks ago down in Fort Lauderdale. And so that's how I got to meet Jill. So anyways, on one of her shows, she had some radio announcer on from Maine. And what this radio announcer said, and I don't know how true this is, but they claim it is, that we all know it started in Wuhan, and some Yale professor and 2 Chinese students were in contact with the Chinese government. And they were creating this coronavirus, a different strain. Then the CIA found out about it. The CIA went to meet this person in Wuhan, and a gun battle ensued. And this coronavirus dropped. And that's how it ended up spreading.
Yeah.
Now, how true that is, I don't know, but that's what I heard. And I don't know who can do research on that, but that's what I'm told.
Well, anybody can leave comments here. Let us know what they're hearing. I mean, I've heard some far out stuff like that. Like it came from a bat that ate a snake that lived in a lunch pail that attacked a man. I mean, I'm not even making fun of what you're saying. I'm just saying that.
And she said she seemed to be real credible, that she knew people in high places.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But gun battles, the logic of it, Sonny and I would tell you, a gun battle in China, us getting a gun into China and all that kind of stuff would be very unlikely unless they were locals, because it's hard to get weapons and walk around a communist country like that. It's pretty strict, and they get cameras everywhere scanning your faces. I mean, it's Big Brother alley. It is a little hard to penetrate that gauntlet. That's my only detective counter to that. I mean,
Mhm.
if that's what happened, I've heard bioweapon, I've heard man-made, I've heard a lot. It's all speculation, unfortunately. I don't think I have anything more conclusive to say than what you just did. You know,
Mhm.
I mean,
My,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'll talk after you.
Now, I was gonna see if Ro had any ideas. Like, what do you younger generation know? Was it started by a video game? Fed to a lobster? I mean, what happened? I'm joking.
I mean, I heard the same. I was laughing about the bat in the pail because we heard the same thing. Like, there were people who were eating bats again, and that's where it came from. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't Aunt Dee's what she heard doesn't. It wouldn't surprise me just because I feel like that story is so like crazy that it could very well possibly have just been that. And here,
Mhm.
like, just I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not trying to devalue anyone. I'm about to step out, let Sonny run it for a sec. I'll be right back in a couple minutes. But Sonny, go ahead, take over, man. You're the big Tacosaurus Rex.
Yeah, he's a lot quieter right now than he usually is.
I'm just listening. There's time to talk and there's time to listen. So I'm talking.
Hey,
I was listening.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What does it mean? What do you think it means that the Federal Reserve lowered the interest rates to 0%, 0 to 0.25% today?
Okay, so I'm not an economics expert, but I read that too from, was it the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post?
Mhm.
What does it mean? Is that for everything or just for certain
Well,
things?
I don't know. That I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. And I didn't know if you heard anything.
Yeah, I read part of it. I didn't read the whole thing. I just read the headline and I didn't have time to read the whole thing. So I'd have to read the whole thing. What does it really mean for the average person? Well, I wish that would go for our mortgage payment and lower our
Yeah.
mortgage to 0. But I
That's
don't
what
think
I'm hoping.
that does. Yeah, but I would have to guess no.
No.
That's just my opinion. I would say no. That's probably more for business, obviously.
No.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah. So that's my thing on that. So I don't got no more than that on more on that.
All right,
except
hold on.
for
I'm gonna go get your mother. Hey, Mom.
okay.
That,
So Ro,
actually had a few neighbors who are refinancing right now because mortgage rates are like
so low.
so low. Yeah.
Yes, they're very low right now. So yeah, we're gonna probably look at that like tomorrow.
Yeah.
You back, D?
Yeah, I'm back. I went and got Mommy. She can
Okay.
get involved in the conversation for a little bit, see what she thinks. She has no
Okay.
idea what I'm even doing.
Okay.
I said to her,
Okay.
"Hey, I want you to do this with Sonny." She's like,
Okay.
"What? What's a podcast?"
What is a podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Nico? You back?
I'm back.
Yeah.
You can
So
do
we're
it too if you
getting.
want.
So this is our first podcast, and this is the way they'll start off. They'll start off, and then this will go on YouTube, and then what you do is you build a following, and what I like to do is start building it up. So, but
Well,
getting
that's
back to
now. Can't you build a business out of that?
yes, I think Lenny has a few podcasts now, if I'm mistaken.
Oh.
So he does this for a living, actually.
Okay, now how do I get
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Huh.
So
Okay.
anyways, Nico, the last question was, I'm not sure if you heard, but the last question was, how do you think this started?
Listen here. Sit over here.
Now, Dee gave her opinion of what she heard. I don't know if you heard her opinion, did you?
Oh, that one, yeah. The gunfight.
Okay.
You're talking,
Yes.
You're gonna be.
And so,
You're gonna be
um,
live.
hold on, I'll wait till Grandma gets on the phone.
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
on the phone.
okay, you're on. Okay, so the question was, where do you think this started? So we heard her answer, Ro gave her answer, and then Lenny gave his answer, and this is my opinion here. Um, I probably, my opinion, it probably started in some bioweapons laboratory, and it started because I thought this months ago when the Chinese lost the trade war. Um, they were pretty bent out of shape because of losing. So this was their get back. You know, so it's a threefold. It's a to lower the population, a drop. And so what they would do is first inflict it on their own population, and then from there, it would spread worldwide. So it would damage the global economy. So that's my opinion on it. Could I be right? Maybe. Could I be wrong? Maybe. Just an opinion, nothing more. And so, and obviously we will never find out because they will have 10 Senate investigations, a House investigation, and it'll get nowhere because, like we've seen, that we still haven't figured out who shot JFK 60 years later. So we will never figure that one out. But that was just an opinion. I believe Dee's idea was that she heard that it was some professors made it, and then there was some sort of shootout in Wuhan between the CIA and these Chinese nationalists. Ro's opinion was more like coming from bats, from food, mouth, from eating, these different, from these wet markets, they're called in China, which these wet markets are pretty big, and they were never shut down like they were supposed to be, like the Chinese government said they would. But I would say one thing I'd have to say about that. I wanted to mention this. When you have 1.3 billion people in a country, you probably don't have enough food to go around. So I think a lot of these people end up eating whatever they can just to survive. So I'm not, if it did start that way, coming from, bats or what have you, if you're hungry, you'll eat anything. And the Chinese have shown that they're willing to eat anything to feed themselves. So I can't really blame them, but when you really look at it, people need to eat to survive, and you'll do that. So
well, that's true. I think a lot of people are I don't know, what if we had to go to quarantine because there's a thunderstorm? I mean, there's probably a time in history, evil spirits outside, everybody hide, earthquakes. People thought they were big acts of God, which they could still be, but what are you going to do? It's happening. It's one of the challenges in your life that you have to deal with. But I think moving forward, people just need to plan, and they need to find good allies and people that they can stick with to look out for each other, because people need to bond more during this experience. And it's kind of bringing us back. I mean, people have told me, I have a friend in Las Vegas that, he says it's a sundown town now. It used to be 24 hours a day traffic from Las Vegas to, let's say, Henderson, an outlying town. And now it's like no traffic, 8-minute drive, 15-minute drive. It used to take you 45 minutes because of traffic. So you're seeing changes, and a lot of them are economic, which are really bad. A lot of financial hits to people that have businesses, restaurants, stores. There's a lot of stuff. People say don't go to the hospital. It's really tough. The stock market's taking a plunge. I saw some article where they supposedly are trying to bring interest rates even lower.
That's what Dee just said, and that's what she asked, but you stepped out. She wanted to know what they were lowering the interest rate to zero. Would that affect our mortgages?
You know what? If they do, I know in Italy they forgave the mortgages for a while, I believe. You know what I mean? I believe that's what happened. I mean, I'm just looking at interest rates right now, but if I look at news, Federal Reserve slashes rates to zero.
Rates for what?
So what does this mean? So the central bank said it will use full range of tools to battle economic impacts of the coronavirus. So interest rates to zero for the first time financial crisis. So I'm trying to see. It says appear that we have strong footing in our economy. I'm kind of reading over this. Emergency Sunday / okay, impromptu, blah, blah, blah. Said there'll be, Powell said purchases, no monthly cap, whatever. I don't know if this affects people directly. You know, is like your rate going to be zeroed out at home? I have to read more on that and find out about that, you know. But, you know, maybe that does mean your house. Maybe it doesn't. I'm not sure. That would be great. That would be great of the government to do so, because some people, you know, a lot of people are working remotely, high tech. They're safe. They can work from home, you know. But if you're a trades crafts person and you got to go out in the field, people are probably thinking twice about having their house remodeled or having new carpet put in or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And that was an alien craft that we just saw pop up on the screen. Want to let you know. But
Okay.
So that yeah, you like that one. I don't know.
Hey, Len, if you're smart though, the smart person now would buy. Like if I wanted to remodel my house, I could probably get a hell of a deal right now, especially if there's no work. You know what I mean? This is the time I think, you know, I mean, you know, this is the time to strike while the metal is hot or while the pan is hot, right?
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to go look on realtor.com while we're talking, and I'm going to see how many price reductions happened today. I just saw, okay, it said 59 new listings just popped up, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So the lowest price point for a house out there was around 5 something. And all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of new houses that just got listed, like whammy. But here's the question. Do you think you're going to run from California to where? To where? Look at the big red map. I mean, if you're running from the coronavirus, if this is causing that panic, you know, are you going to a more toilet paper friendly state? I mean, what's your goal? You know what I mean? Yeah. Where are you running to? Yeah. There's nowhere to run. It is what it is.
There's nowhere to run.
Right? Yeah. You know, we've had 6 or 7 deaths, I think. Let me see. The total deaths, total coronavirus deaths in California. Let's see.
Hey, while he's looking, Nico, so how is that affecting you at work?
It's not yet.
Since you're a tradesman, but you know, by trade, you're a trade, you know, you work in the trades. Has it affected you?
Not yet, but I mean, so I'm in construction, and what we do kind of lags behind the economy. So if the economy is doing great, you know, 6 months later, all of a sudden we'll have a ton of work because everybody's trying to remodel and build and do everything. But, you know, if the economy, you know, takes a crap, then all of a sudden, you know, 6 months later, everybody, you know, stops spending. Because right now we're still doing all the jobs that have been paid for. So, I mean, time will tell, you know, I mean, and who knows, especially if this thing, you know, goes, you know, if we go into a real recession where, you know, the economy is in a bear market for, you know, a extended period of time, then yeah, you know, the construction industry is gonna drop off for sure. And yeah, and then we'll feel that. I mean, yeah, there's gonna be a lot less work. You know,
listen to this.
A lot of guys out of work. Yeah, I mean, one of those things.
You want to listen to this. This is very, very interesting.
Have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're having here comes some new guests, I think. Are we having new guests?
My mother was on, but she gave it back to me.
Yeah, I was enjoying it, but we both can't be.
Because we both can't be on at the same time.
Ah, okay.
If you get a laptop, you can do it easier, but we can do that next time. That's
yeah.
That's the easier
way. What I'll do is I'll send you her email address, and then you can send her the link next time.
I could do it right now. It's never too late. Yeah. You want to send it to me in Gmail, my last email that you had that you sent it to?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Want to give me your phone, Mom?
Yeah.
So we have all the different generations here. Just about. You're going to put your little son back on here, and then we'll have everything.
Yeah,
right?
see Say about it.
We're gonna hear his perspective, right?
He's mad about the no toilet paper himself, man.
What is his perspective about being off school?
You know what? I think he's like apprehensive, really. I mean, I think he likes the fact he's out of school, but also he realized that something's going on. He doesn't like that. I mean, it is. I think it's a stressful time for everybody. I mean, it's just the knowing of everything, right? I mean, you know,
Yeah.
things. You know, I mean, the adults are stressed out, so kids are stressed out, and you know.
Yeah.
Well, the socialization for children to be amongst their peers is a big deal.
Yeah.
They need to be around their friends. They need to be playing ball or, you know, playing video games together. I mean, that's one thing. They all can meet up on Xbox if they're of that age, but
You know, we're lucky because we have neighbors that are good friends with him, but not everybody has that. You know, it's just, you know,
Yeah.
and the implications it has for parents for kids to be out of school for 2 weeks. It's a long time for people who aren't making a lot of money or can afford to stay.
the question is 2 weeks the magic number?
That's the other thing. Come up with that.
I would say this. I was just talking to a couple people about that. You know what? I think most schools are going back the first week of April or the second week, right? Now, I'm not sure out in Florida if schools are canceled, but out here in California, most schools are canceled until early April.
2 weeks.
Okay, so let's say this. This is. I think Ro asked me this question earlier today. I think this is important. I think by the time schools are getting ready to go back, if the government comes out and says we need X amount more time, I think that there to me is the tipping point, because that'll tell us if this was more of, it's not a hoax, but it was it overblown, or if they say to us, if the kids go back, I think it might be overblown. But if they decide for the kids to stay off for another 2 weeks, let's say 2 more weeks or another month, whatever it may be, then maybe there's more to it than what we are thinking right now. Because I would just throw this out there to most people. I think most people right now believe that for the most part, it's overblown. And, I won't say it fully overblown, but a little overblown. Just my opinion. But I think that, like I said, the tipping point is that in 3 weeks or whatever, these governors of these various states say, no, we need more time, and the bars need to stay closed, because out here in California, Governor Newsom has ordered all the bars, wineries, and pretty much all nightclubs to close. That was put out today, along with anybody over the age 65. So if in that 3 week time period, if things stay closed, then I think maybe we're in more trouble, or it might be a little worse than we think. But if not, then so be it.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's we'll see what it is, but come on, it's a flu. That's like a guy said to me, it's a flu, but he can't make the police and the checkpoints go away where he's at.
No.
And what are police going to do against the flu anyways? It's going to do what it does.
All they're there to do is control the masses. It's called, the police are called the thin blue line. And that term basically means you're the line between civilization and anarchy, right? That's the thin blue line. Because if it gets past the thin blue line, that means you got to bring in the military. And at that point, we are no longer free society. That's when we're now living in a banana republic.
I just sent the email.
Okay. We're going to try to get your mom on here.
So that's my thing with the police. Their job is just to, you want to come in? You sure? Okay. One of my sons just came over, was looking in. I thought he wanted to join in, but he doesn't. He's more busy playing Batman on one of them TV games. But the police, that's their job, just to control the masses. But that only lasts for so long, because most of the time the police are from the areas where they're trying to quarantine. And for the most part, they are part of the community. So if they're being asked to do things that they feel like they shouldn't do, you're going to have more of more people second guessing the orders they're given. But I'll say this, and this goes back to something I learned about the old Soviet Union. During the era of the Soviet Union, the military, the ones that were stationed within the country of USSR, there's over 100 languages spoken in the former Soviet Union. But what would happen was units that were, say, from Georgia, they would have them stationed in places like Mongolia and vice versa. All these different places, they would be stationed in places where they didn't speak the language of that local dialect. And the main reason was, under Soviet doctrine, was if the military ever had to be used against their own against their own people, they would not be speaking that language. So they would have they were less inclined to feel for them or to believe in them or to really care about them. And that comes full. That's why I bring that up now, that local law enforcement, you're from the community that you serve. But if the military, the actual military, not the Guard, National Guard or reserves, that are actually also from the areas that they serve, if the actual Army or Marines had to come in, they are not from this area. So they would be less likely or more likely to follow certain orders that people that are from the area would be less likely to follow. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that goes back to what you were saying, that for law enforcement, that, you know, they would have to hold the line. But if things became too blown out and they couldn't, then the alternative would have to be called in. And that's a little more dangerous, you know, because giving an 18, 19, or 20-year-old, you know, that type of responsibility to, and not having to do it overseas, but to be here as enforcing the laws, that can be a little more hairy, a little more sticky than a 30-year-old dressed in blue that understands the local community a little better. Just an opinion there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we need to think of the basics, like get a Japanese toilet seat. Don't worry about toilet paper. Let the crazy people fight over the craziness. You know, get the good food that you need. And,
Yeah.
you know, some people are headed, there's other things they're not thinking about, like, oh, I'll just buy a bunch of Twinkies. And then they'll get diabetic while they're stuck in their house. So you got to think ahead, man. You have to think about all your moves. Get your protein, get your eggs. And you're only going to be able to hold so much. So far, we're not down on anything, and there's plenty of fresh produce out there. So you should be fine, you know. It's just
hey, that's
go ahead.
Going to the store, Lenny, going to the store. That's one thing that there was a lot of fresh produce. I was surprised to see that the shelves weren't bare. They were bare from other things. They were bare from the soda aisle. They were bare from, you know, the Kleenex and toiletry aisle. But the vegetables, the fruit and vegetables, were stacked high. So that was telling me a lot of people ain't really buying vegetables and fruit.
Right.
They're buying
So I thought that was
items, like, I mean, I guess for quarantine purposes, right?
Yeah, for long term, right, Ro? Yeah, long term. But you still got, for as much as you think long term, you still got to think short term. For, you know, for the next 3 days, not for the next 3 weeks or 3 months. So you got to have that again. That goes to balance. You know, you got to balance. You got to balance everything out. It's not just long term or just short term. It's balanced. But Len, there's another thing when you brought up the diabetic aspect. People might be staying in their homes a little more. They might not be. They're being a lot more sediment, and they're going to get less physical activity. And people can't forget about staying active, staying, and that doesn't mean actually just having to go out and run 10 miles or what have you. But you got to stay somewhat physically fit, because people that aren't as physically fit become more susceptible to things.
That's okay.
Hey, there's your mom.
So are you there now?
Hold on, we're trying to get her hooked up.
Oh, okay.
I think people should get some lavender essential oil and calm the hell down.
Oh.
All over. Just take a moment. Take some deep.
Or CBD.
Nice some CBD.
I think. Go ahead.
We can get sponsored by CBD. CBD against coronavirus. Let's see if it works. Let's see.
That's the lady that Dee was just talking about. She sells CBD oil. That's when she went to her. She went to her when Aunt Dee was just talking about that lady. Remember she had that story a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that she went down to Fort Lauderdale to listen to a presentation about CBD oil, and so she was thinking about getting into the CBD aspect.
It is becoming a very popular industry because I work around all these fighters filming and stuff just for fun, and they're getting offered sponsorships by every CBD company under the sun. I mean, there's more CBD than there probably is like toilet paper, I
They
think.
won't be able to hear you.
That's okay.
Well, the chandelier gang is back.
Yeah, I see the fan.
Yeah. We're here with the chandelier gang, and we're going to talk about light fixtures, and we've got a tradesman over here to help us install these fans, right?
Yeah.
It's covered.
Yeah.
This is great. Here we go.
Hey, how you enjoying your day? There you go. How you enjoying your day off, Nico?
Loving it. Loving my day off.
Back to the Corona race tomorrow.
Yeah. Back
Yeah.
at it. There's traffic. I like that.
There's no work from home for construction workers.
No,
I know.
You can't work remotely. Oh my gosh, what's going on here? You need to talk to your boss.
No.
Tell him you want to work remotely.
I want to work remotely too.
How about if you have a robot set up so he can hang? All you do is do the controls, and he starts hanging everything for you.
Set me up, man. I'm down.
You're down for that? That's a plan.
All day.
That's the future. Look,
Yeah.
there's your
I'm
mom.
still trying to find that work from home job.
Yeah, me too. That'd be nice.
It's the coronavirus podcast. That's all your new job. You're all TV hosts. So we've got Sonny's mom's glasses. We have. She's listening to the phone like she's listening to the phone, but you gotta get a look at the phone.
She can't hear too well for some reason.
Oh, so she's listening.
Tell them I'm doing two things at one time, watching Levin
You're
and
telling
listening
them.
to them. Oh, did you hear me? Okay, I'm watching Levin and listening to you.
Oh, I thought you were watching Laverne and Shirley. I heard you wrong the first time. That would have been a great way to pass the time.
And he's talking to that Michael Pillsbury, who's very intelligent. Works for the Trump. But anyways.
We're all
So
getting.
how are you enjoying this podcast so far?
Wait, what?
I like it. It's very interesting. Too bad I can't hear properly.
Okay.
Dorcia's trying to connect me up, but that's okay.
It's two different things. Yeah, going on. It's hard. It's hard.
It's every other word, and it's okay.
I have my earbuds in, but they're not working.
Well,
I don't know. She'll work it out.
Okay.
this is a very diverse crowd, and it's more than you're going to get on television. We are all paid actors. We're all pretending to be people stuck at home with the coronavirus, but really we're all happy, and we live on an island. We don't have any of those problems. No. Yeah, we live on Toilet Paper Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're the Corona crew.
Yeah. Well, I want to keep this going, but I gotta wrap it because it's gonna take so long to upload. But I'm going to close it up around here, and then you guys can take a look at it. You can put it on your Facebook if you like, Sonny. I'm going to
Okay,
stop it and
sounds good.
download it because it's pretty long. I think we went for an hour and a half, probably.
Oh wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a big file.
I wasn't even paying attention. So then I can pop this on the Facebook.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in a bit.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay,
And
guys.
so we'll get the message out, and we
Yeah.
will do this again.
Yeah, get some more people on here. We're all stuck at home with the coronavirus discussion podcast. I believe
And
that's
Ro,
the
you
main.
you said your friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say Savino has some stuff to say about coronavirus also, so he's, we can get him on here too.
Sounds good. And you should invite some of your friends, Ro and Nico. D, tell some of your friends about this, and we'll keep pushing this thing out.
It's the Hollywood Squares, man. Yeah,
Yes.
the top prize is toilet paper. I'll see you guys soon.
Okay. All right, guys. Talk to
See
you
ya.
guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.